Hello, my friend, and welcome to Wisdom Trek. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 5-day-per-week wisdom and legacy building podcast. This is day 431 of our trek, and today is Wisdom Wednesday. Every Wednesday along life's trail, we dig for the nuggets of wisdom that are found in the book of Proverbs. Today, we will explore the second half of chapter 18. We are broadcasting from our studio at Home 2 in Charlotte, North Carolina. On Sunday after church, we headed back to Indian Trail, arriving late evening. Our plans were to watch the fireworks display at the Marietta Sternwheel Festival, but we canceled that due to a line of severe thunderstorms that went through Marietta that evening. Although they did end up having the fireworks after the storm, we decided that we did not want to deal with the crowds and the wet grass. There will be other years that we can enjoy them in the future. We are back in the thick of our work for this week, with many projects and client work on our schedule. But for now, it's time to break camp and head out on our trail as we search for those nuggets of wisdom found in the book of Proverbs. One nugget King Solomon continually emphasizes is how we speak. It is a continual theme in today's trek also. How we speak to others is so important. It can literally mean the difference between life and death, as verse 21 starts out with, "A tongue can bring life or death." Let's start our trek for today with verse 13. Spouting off before listening to the facts is both shameful and foolish. We all fall into this trap, don't we? In many conversations, we are so busy preparing our reply, we are not really listening to what is being said. This type of communication is shameful and makes us a fool. A truly wise person will speak little and listen much to hear what is really being said. There is much to learn from a conversation of what is actually not being said by others, but we can only hear it if we keep our own mouth shut. Verse 14. The human spirit can endure a sick body, but who can bear a crushed spirit? We can endure much physically and still survive, but once a person's spirit is wounded or destroyed, that person will be defeated. We need to be very careful not to abuse others physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Words can cut deeper than wounds of any physical abuse. Verse number 15. Intelligent people are always ready to learn. Their ears are open for knowledge. The key to becoming a truly intelligent person is to keep your mouth shut and your ears open. I have yet to learn anything when I'm speaking myself, other than to realize how foolish I sound at times. Let us make it a habit of listening and learning, then speak only when it is appropriate, or to ask questions so that we can learn more. Verse number 16. Giving a gift can open doors. It gives access to important people. Within today's political environment, we see how true this is. Gifts for political favor seem to be an epidemic. Now, it's always probably been this way, as it is mentioned a few times in the book of Proverbs. This does not always have to be a bad situation, but let me ask you this question. How willing are you to give gifts to others with no expectations of anything in return? That is the truest form of love and compassion. Verse number 17. The first to speak in court sounds right until the cross-examination begins. We see this situation so often in court, but also in regular dialogue with others. When someone presents a case or argument, they may sound very convincing, at least until the opposing counsel has an opportunity to present their case. It would serve us all well to remember that there are two sides to every story or conflict, and it would be best if we listen to all the information before making a decision. Verse number 18. Flipping a coin can end arguments. It settles disputes between powerful opponents. Most of us probably feel like flipping a coin to make a decision is just a game of chance, but throughout Scripture we see that it is often used. If you have to make a choice between two equally good choices, it may be a good tool to use to make a final decision. Even when there is a dispute that is not being settled, why not flip a coin? It is just as fair to everyone involved. Verse number 19. An offended friend is harder to win back than a fortified city. Arguments separate friends like a gate locked with bars. Arguments between friends should not happen if we truly have our friend's best interest in mind, but the fact is that they do. Keep this in mind before saying or doing something that might cause a friend to be offended, and ask yourself, is it worth it? Offending or arguing with a friend can cause damage that may take years to repair if it's repaired at all. Is it worth it to offend another or to win an argument? It would be much better to lose an argument and keep your friend. Verse number 20. Wise words satisfy like a good meal. The right words bring satisfaction. When you hear truly wise words from a wise person, they are like eating a deliciously prepared meal. It just hits the spot. The right words are satisfying to the soul as a great meal is to the body. Verse number 21. The tongue can bring death or life. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences. The tongue is one of the smallest organs in our body, and yet has a capacity to cause more damage and harm than any other part. You can destroy a person with the words that you say, or you can encourage and bring life into that same person. It's up to you. The problem with people who love to talk is that they will inevitably hurt someone with their many words. It is best to speak only when it is needed, helpful, and encouraging to others. Verse number 22. The man who finds a wife finds a treasure. He receives favor from the Lord. I can only speak from my own personal experience, but for me, Paula is a treasure in my life. I cannot imagine being in a marriage where there is strife and turmoil. A marriage built on God's precepts, with mutual love for each other and for God, is quite a blessing. I have to admit I have received favor from the Lord in my marriage. Verse number 23. The poor plead for mercy. The rich answers with insults. God has a compassion for those who are poor. If we have resources beyond our own needs, we should not wait for a poor person to plead for mercy before assisting them, but rather be willing and ready to help others. If you do have wealth, you should not answer the poor with insults and no compassion. We should show our love for God through our love for other people, especially those who are less fortunate. And verse number 24. There are friends who destroy each other, but real friends stick closer than a brother. A true friend will be there during good and bad times. They will be even more available than a physical brother, especially if they live close by. If you see those who are supposed to be friends and yet they don't care to assist each other, then they are not true friends. The nuggets of wisdom that we've gathered in verses 13 through 24 of Proverbs chapter 18 provide more tasty morsels of wisdom, insight, and understanding. Regardless of your faith walk, if the precepts of Proverbs are followed, your life will be rich and satisfying. Take time to plant them into your heart so that you'll reap a harvest of goodness. Tomorrow we will hike another short trail of our Wisdom Unplugged series, where we will discover wisdom from an inspirational quote. So encourage your friends and family to join us, and then come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. That will finish our trek for today. Just as you enjoy your daily doses of wisdom, we ask you to help us to grow Wisdom Trek by sharing it with your friends and family through email, Facebook, Twitter, or in person when you meet with them, and invite them to come along with us each day. If you'd like to listen to any of the past daily treks, they are available at wisdom-trek.com. And don't forget to subscribe to Wisdom Trek so that each day's episode will be downloaded to you automatically. The journal for today's trek can be found at wisdom-trek.com. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend, as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.